So you're scrolling through social, questioning your own existence, and you see your favorite immersive video creator just posted that they uploaded a new VR video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. But how exactly do you go from link in bio to tossing back some virtual cold boys with Kuya in VR? In other words, how the hell do you watch an immersive video in VR? And what immersive video platform should you be using? I'm Kuya Quatro, and today I'll be walking y'all VR users through the various immersive video platforms and how to use them to watch immersive videos that aren't porn. When I say immersive video, I'm really talking about an all-encompassing term that includes VR 180 stereoscopic, VR 360 stereoscopic, VR 360 monoscopic, and the very rare and useless VR 180 monoscopic. We're collecting all these video formats and calling it immersive video. And in the immersive video field, there's essentially three big players. You got YouTube VR, DeoVR, and Oculus TV. And who you choose to main largely depends on what kind of headset you use and whether you're a casual or hardcore VR head. So we'll be going over each one and dropping points into attribute sliders for accessibility, content library, VR app options, and community. Okay, so first we're gonna start off with the platform we're all familiar with, the internet video sugar daddy of them all, YouTube. So, some quick backstory. YouTube could have kept the immersive video infinity stone and added it to the Google Gauntlet. But instead, they thought VR was more of an infinity paperweight when they realized phone in the box VR wasn't it. And then they kind of abandoned VR, like YouTube just went out for milk and never returned and started a new family with AR out in like Valparaiso, Indiana or something. I don't know, go Vikings. But I say all that to say, as far as accessibility goes, only Android-based VR headsets like the Quest 2, Quest 1, Pico Neo 2, basically the Facebook and TikTok VR headsets. Those are the ones that can natively support the YouTube VR app. So if you're a Questie, good news, you finally have something over PCVR players. Assuming you have a Quest, the best way I found to watch VR videos is to log into your YouTube account and simply add whatever videos you find into a new playlist that I personally call Watch Later in VR. Why not just add to your Watch Later playlist? Well, it's because you don't want to watch a VR video on your flat screen, and you don't want to watch flat screen pancakes on your VR headset. It's like, so you might as well separate the two so you have them all organized, and that way you can access just the immersive videos in that playlist. What's great about this is that so long as you're logged into your YouTube account, you could be on any device and you can just add it to your playlist. So you could be like on your phone, you could find it on tweets or on social, that link in bio. You could just like click it on your whatever device you're on, be it your laptop, your workstation by which you're not supposed to be browsing YouTube, but you do it anyway just to mull over the time and downtime that you supposedly don't have. You could just use whatever device and add it to a playlist and it's all good. YouTube kinda works for Windows Mixed Reality in that you technically can watch an immersive video through the Microsoft Edge browser with the 360 viewer browser extension, but the extension forces all VR video to be monoscopic, meaning you lose all stereoscopic 3D depth and everything looks way too big, no depth. Like, it's like, don't tell me we have VR Hennessy at home and then hit me with the monoscopic Tycoon Cognac. Like, I'm sorry, Uncle 40, but your yak does not smack. All other PCVR headsets like Index, Vive, Pimax 80K 2000X3, whatever, your only real option to watch a YouTube VR video would be to rip it. And that's exactly why Virtual Desktop had in mind when they built in their VR video viewer feature into their app. So yo ho and a bottle of rum. With all that being said, Accessibility is a 3 out of 5 because it shuts out all the non-Android headsets, which sucks because YouTube has the deepest content library since YouTube is the internet library of videos that aren't porn. YouTube content library, 5 out of 5, like hands down. Which also means that they have a super deep community of creators, an audience, people commenting, liking your videos, which would make you think YouTube community would also be a 5 out of 5, but oh, hold up. The way YouTube deprioritizes immersive video chips away at that stat. Because the absolute majority, like 99.9999% of YouTube's audience is watching on Pancake, you know, like flat screen 2D devices, which is fair. But this means that immersive video gets no love from the algorithm. So hopefully people are subscribed to your YouTube channel, they hit the little Taco Bell icon and follow you on social to see that you actually posted, because otherwise you're just uploading pixels into the void, which at the end of the day, I suppose we all do. 4 out of 5 for community. You just gotta level grind with no buffs or hacks to unlock the audience. I mean, like, we're playing the game on hard mode, but it is what it is. So VR app options. YouTube as a VR video player is okay. In headset, you can only stream like 4K, 5K max, despite uploading an 8K video for some reason, and 4K is like the bare minimum resolution you'd even want to watch in VR, so I'm not even sure what their max frame rate is. The VR controls are pretty basic, play, pause, not a whole lot going on, but they do support closed caption, which is nice, but it's not great. The focal distance, aka the disparity, is kind of wonky. The fact that they even have the option is nice still, but if there's something super close to you that's closer than the captions, then like this weird like disparity issue going on. It works, but Searching for VR videos in YouTube is pretty decent in that you can set filters to see the different types of formats that can come up in your search. So you could do like 360 or 180. So that's nice. For VR app options, 3 out of 5, mostly being held back by resolution limits and lack of player options, but playlist creation and caption support keep it floating in the upper middle tier. So to quickly recap, YouTube VR is great for Quest headsets, but broken for everybody else. YouTube as a VR player has video quality, some accessibility options, and it's all built on a functioning and popular content platform that we all know and love. Be sure to make your own custom playlists for VR videos so you can queue up all the immersive videos together and access them later in your Quest headset. PCVR headsets were kinda out of luck. But who gives a fuck? Now we're rolling with the big boys. That's right, I'm talking about DeoVR, baby. The Ferrari of VR video players, cause despite how powerful the machine is, only a couple dozen people actually have it. Alright, so as far as accessibility goes, DeoVR app is available on almost every headset. It works. And you can kinda access it through web browsers, but it's a little hit or miss. But really we're talking about watching VR videos in a VR headset. And in that regard, DeoVR scores a 4.5 out of 5 for accessibility. Half a point off because as of recent events, with Deo putting up a subscription paywall for premium videos, I gotta knock it down a little notch. I just personally think it's a little too early in the immersive video field to be doing this, especially because immersive video has 0 mainstream commercial hits to convince potential audiences to buy a subscription. But I get it. Roads gotta get paved, servers gotta serve, and can't knock the hustle. It's still a great platform, and trust me, I've seen a good amount of the premium videos, you're really not missing out on anything with the free version. Yet. Now, let's talk about the app options, because going from YouTube to DeoVR is like going from a bag of unseasoned frozen Tyson chicken wings to Korean fried chicken. Like, you would never know that these levels of flavor were even possible. DeoVR is great. Like what you need. You need a little tilt and zoom. Boom, here you go. Did the user film off center? Boom, slide correction. Is it tilted weird? We can roll around and get you right. Like, the player is S tier, hands down. DeoVR is the gold standard of all immersive players. But is it perfect? Are we giving it the Illmatic 5 mics blessing? If we're basing it off the player alone, we would, but we're talking about the app as a whole, which includes other things like searching and accessibility options. So, DeoVR is still kind of new in the grand scale of internet things. Like, they're constantly updating the app and releasing patches, but as of now, we don't have playlist creation. Like, that's one of the main things that I look for, like when it comes to YouTube. Just like creating, like watch later playlists, watching my favorites, scrap. DeoVR does not yet have playlist creation. You pretty much have to rely on using your favorites list as your catch-all playlist for things you like, things you want to watch later, etc. Also, there's no support for closed caption yet, and they use these weird video categories to sort their videos. Like, they're not very useful. Like, who the hell is using the twerk category, or the NFT category, or the crypto category, or the war category? And what the hell doesn't fall under the interesting category? Because, I'm tagging all of my videos with that. There's just a bunch of wonk that when it comes to search and sorting in DeoVR. But again though, DeoVR is still new and growing. They update their app pretty regularly, so I have really high hopes for DeoVR because they already have a pretty baller video player. So if they can just get the sorting fixed, playlist creation, and give us some closed caption support, there's really no stopping DeoVR from becoming the one. But as of now, we'll give DeoVR a 4 out of 5 for app options. Solid. With all that being said, even if they did have all those quality of life features added, it would only be worth it if the content library was big enough to take a deep dive into. But because DeoVR is relatively new and still very niche, the content library is also pretty lacking when compared to Daddy YouTube. So because they're still growing and don't have that big of a content library, we're giving the content library a 3 out of 5 for DeoVR. And the big reason why the content library isn't that deep is because the DeoVR community is also not that deep. So here's the thing, right? DeoVR is a VR platform for VR video content. How many people even have the capabilities to make immersive video? Or how many people even know that immersive video is even a thing? Right. The tech is so new that you can't really fault DeoVR for having the small community that they have. But VR is growing. Like, Meta sold a couple million headsets last Christmas alone. So I'm hoping that eventually more people will search out for VR video content, immersive video content, and more people will be inspired to try making immersive videos. We are in the early frontiers of this art form, and you are helping to blaze trails by checking it out, supporting VR video creators, and hopefully contributing your own into the VR immersive content well. But as of now, it's the wild and lonely frontier for VR video. So DeoVR unfortunately gets a 2 out of 5 for community, simply for the lack of. So to recap, DeoVR has one of the best video players hands down, with a ton of customizable viewing options, great video quality, and even a local file player. But because they're new and immersive video is super niche, their content library is small, as is their community. And even though I think it's still way too early for a premium subscription model, I still got very high hopes for the future of DeoVR, and I hope y'all join to help their platform grow. So last, and arguably the least, we have Oculus TV. We're not gonna go that deep into Oculus TV because honestly, it is in F tier for almost everything. Like, it's only accessible for Meta headsets, 1 out of 5 access. It's super awful to navigate and find content, 1 out of 5 app. The content library is just cribbed from other apps with only a handful of okay exclusives, 1 out of 5 content. And there's no community because there's no way to post comments on the videos, 1 out of 5 for community. Unless, you know, like you count sharing videos in Facebook groups, but come on. The only silver lining that Oculus TV has is Quill content. And Quill is pretty fucking great. If you're not familiar, Quill is a VR illustration program where you can draw in all spatial dimensions, and you can even do some animation with it as well. People typically post these slice of life scenes, and it's pretty nice. It's full 6 DOF, 6 degrees of freedom experience, but the majority of these are like 15-second loops, which is a chill, you know, pretty cool experience of its own. There's even some short film sort of content in Quill as well. It's rare, but it's pretty cool. But if all you wanted was Quill content, then just browse the Animation Viewer app, which is only Quill content. Otherwise, there is zero reason to use Oculus TV's poorly sorted feed to sift for questionably good content. Oculus TV, 1 out of 5, might get my Meta account shut down, but hey, PC gang all day, so who cares? In conclusion, if you have a Quest headset, you're probably best off with YouTube VR because it works. Thing is that as immersive video and VR grows as a whole, people are gonna want more access, and who has more access currently is DeoVR, because DeoVR works on pretty much all headsets. They have a super good VR video app, and yeah, the player is awesome. People upload specifically immersive video, so it's really easy to find immersive video content there. They do have this paywall premium thing going on, but it can be pretty much ignored for now. And Oculus TV is F tier, bottom tier. Okay, so that being said, last thing I want to say is, you know, YouTube really could Thanos snap both Meta TV and DeoVR into fucking dust if they wanted to. Like, at any second, they could just release a Steam PCVR YouTube app that actually works and raise the resolution limits for headsets, and boom, done. Deo and Meta might be living on borrowed time in this immersive video field, so it's up to them to battle for King of the Hill. But I don't know, Google has this really bad track record of abandoning really cool projects, VR 180 being one of them. But because Google is also double downing on AR Core, XR, that does involve and incorporate immersive video, so who knows? It might get the rare resurrection. We'll see. All right, guys. Hopefully that answers some questions for y'all. If you're a Questie, do YouTube VR. Everyone else, check out DeoVR. Even if you're on a Quest, you have the DeoVR option as well. So please check it out. Let me know. Please subscribe. I upload immersive videos. That's kind of my thing that I'm trying to go for. And I hope you use this information to check out some of my videos. All right, guys. Yeah, Kuya Quatro. Watch some immersive videos today. All right, laters.